It's the first Japanese film ever nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It's up for 4 awards this year, including not only Best Picture, but Best Director, too. That's another biggie. So let's talk about Drive My Car. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film, Drive My Car. It's in limited release right now, but since it is up for 4 Oscars, if you are checking off, your Oscar list there of movies to see, it will be on HBO Max in early March, so you can definitely catch it with a few weeks to spare ahead of the Oscars telecast on the 27th. But like I said, this is the first Japanese movie ever to be nominated for Best Picture. It is up as well for Best International Feature. That makes sense. It very well may win there since it is the only foreign film up for Best Picture, and it did win Best Foreign Film at the Golden Globe Awards, for whatever that's worth these days. But it's also up for Best Adapted Screenplay. So 4 nominations total for this movie. Let's talk a little bit about the film before I talk about what I think the Oscar chances are here. But the director in question, I should say, is Ryusuke Hamaguchi. He is up for Best Director here. And this basically is a film about an emotional journey. This guy, Yusuke, is putting on a production of Uncle Vanya while dealing with some tragedy in his life. Sort of, the story of Uncle Vanya is sort of dovetailing with Yusuke's own story and his own emotional state, and all of that. And, of course, he has this, car, as we know from the title, Drive My Car. Very precious to him. He's had it for 15 years. And once he signs on to direct Uncle Vanya, he has to have a driver for his car, because the company has gotten into some legal issues in the past, and it is one of their rules. And he's very, very hesitant about this. But he ends up forming a friendship with the gal assigned to drive his car. So this is a 3-hour film, and it is a downer. There's no way around it, really. Look, I'm not going to mince words. I get it. This is a very, visual film. It's got a lot of emotional heft to it. Totally get it. But this is not a happy movie. I can't remember any movie other than like a war picture that I've ever seen that was just basically completely joyless. I don't even think I smiled once in this whole 3-hour film. It's I get it. The guy's on a journey, and it is very harrowing and emotional, and I'm feeling the weight of that. And I was in tune with it for that portion. However, it's way too long. 3 hours for this, it is too long. And I'll tell you a few places where they could, trim some of the things. This director, Ryusuke Hamaguchi, love the name, but he keeps lingering on these shots that, could have easily just been trimmed entirely, or maybe cut from 40 seconds down to 10 seconds. And believe it or not, he does it enough that even those kinds of like 20, 30-second trims here or there would shave 15 minutes off of this movie. But more to the point, the intro. There is I don't know exactly how long, because my buddy Tim and I saw this in a movie theater, so, we weren't looking at our phones or anything to see what time it was, but we estimated about 35 or 40 minutes in is when we get the opening credits. We'd never seen anything like it. It was so bizarre. Because they did put the title up, and then they do this basically short film for 35 minutes or something. And then we get to the real meat and potatoes of the story. And then we see, okay, starring this person, and, a cinematographer this, and music by this. And it was just like, what? This is so far into the movie already. So I think of that 3 hours, you could have probably trimmed that first quote-unquote short film, as I'm calling it, down to about, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes maybe. Given, established what was going on. And again, we're not going to do spoilers here, so I'm not even going to talk about really what happens in that time frame. But it could have been easily trimmed completely away, giving us about 5, 7, 8 minutes of intro to this character and to the story that we're about to see. And then we get the opening credits, and then we get the rest of the 2 hour and 10 minutes of the rest of the movie. I think, maybe that would have made it go by a little bit quicker. But there's there's a lot of tracking shots, as the gal is driving the car. All right, we're on the road a lot. We get it, the different atmospheres. And look, I totally get it. I felt the emotional weight of this movie. I really did. But I also felt the length. And I can't deny that. I'll even reserve my grade here until after we talk the Oscars a little bit. Because now we're in crunch time with the Oscars. I'm trying to catch all these movies. I haven't seen everything up for Best Picture yet. I think I'm still missing 2 in that regard, and a couple of the acting ones as well, and one of the screenplays. But for my money, I don't believe that this deserves to win anything except maybe foreign. I have not seen any of the other international features yet. One of them is up for Best Screenplay, though, so I'm going to try and see that before Oscar night. The international films are a little hard to come by sometimes before the big show. But the Uncle Vanya stuff, too, like the last 5 minutes of the movie is primarily just the final scene in Uncle Vanya. And the character, is obviously, relating to that and whatever. And that's fine. But it also lacks, for me, a bit of originality. And that's something that we've seen in movies before. It's not unique to this movie, I don't think, where, a character is doing a play or a musical or a TV show or something, and they're relating to the character, in such a way. But after so long with this movie, to sort of sit with that and be like, okay, well, they just didn't even write an ending for this. The ending is the Uncle Vanya ending. Yeah. So look, this is not a negative grade for me. I want to stress that. But when we're talking about Oscar caliber films, I'm not sure that this belongs in the conversation with, some of the ones that are up, West Side Story and Dune and, some of the other ones that I've given A's and A minuses to. In terms of Best Director, I'm a little surprised that Hamaguchi is nominated over Denis Villeneuve in Dune, or for Dune, rather, and some of the other ones, perhaps. I will say, I do think this film is better than Don't Look Up, which is nominated for Best Picture as well. I thought that was wildly overrated, but for some reason the Academy loves their Adam McKay. So, but really, of all the Best Picture nominees, I don't know that this one belongs quite in the conversation. And when we're talking about international features, to me, Parasite was much more original than this, from a couple of years ago, which ended up winning Best Picture. For Best Screenplay, I'm not exactly sure what all is up for that in this moment. The screenplay itself is pretty good. I think it's, one of the stronger things in the film. I will say, this is kind of interesting because Coda is up for Best Picture and for many awards as well, including, I think, Screenplay. And both of these films have a sign language and, deaf component to them with, Coda is sort of all about that. This has one of the actresses in the Uncle Vanya production is hard of hearing. So I thought that was sort of an interesting kind of, I don't know, similarity with another big Oscar film this year that I didn't see coming. I did not expect that. And I did think that was, pretty interesting as well. Overall, look, I get what they're trying to do with this movie. I think it is, very interesting to look at in parts. The emotional heft is certainly there. But much like Power of the Dog, another movie up for a lot of awards, in fact, I think more than any other film at the Oscars this year, I thought this one was just too long in the tooth. It moved too slowly for me. They really should have trimmed that opening scene down to about 5, a cool 5. And I would have been happy with that. So again, it is a positive grade, but, I have to say how I really feel about this movie. I don't think it deserves to be up there with a lot of these other Best Picture nominees thus far. I give Drive My Car a B. But like I said, if you are interested in catching this before the Oscars, if you want to check your whole list here, HBO Max is the place to find this starting, I believe, March 2nd. Is where you can find that. So if you're unable to find it in theaters, it was a search for my buddy and I to find a theater near us that was playing it, but we did, and there you go. At home, you may be able to pause it a little bit, go get a snack, go get a bathroom break, and then come back for the rest. That may make your journey more interesting. I don't know, but that'll do it for the review. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.